Studying the art of historical figures is not the same exactly as studying iconographic figures. Iconographic figures like Shakyamuni Buddha, Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and Tara. When you're looking at historical figures are by definition, they're non-iconic. Historical figures can be depicted in any way that is preferred by the artist or the donor of a painting or a sculpture. The only things that really matter are whether or not the figure is depicted in a sort of a true form, meaning what kind of attire, what kind of possible facial appearance, or what kind of hat, or what hand attributes are considered normal for that historical figure. So for Sakya Pandita was a monk, and he was quite famous, and he appears in painting as a central figure, and he appears in painted compositions as a secondary figure, especially when it comes to lineages. When you have lineages in the registers of early paintings at the top and the sides and the bottom of a composition, then Sakya Pandita would often be there for the Sakya tradition, Sakya, Ngorpa, Tsarpa, Bulug, Bodong, and Jonang traditions. So he'd be very well depicted and well represented in art. Now, typically, he has come to be known to hold a sword and a book, and we have this from some early paintings and early sculpture, but he's also unusual in that he is sometimes depicted with an ushnisha on the crown of the head. Very few historical figures are known to be depicted in this way. We have the Shakyamuni Buddha's son, the Elder Rahula, is depicted with an ushnisha, the Nyingma Garab Dorje, and more famously, the Madhyamaka founder, Nagarjuna, Arya Nagarjuna. And then we have Sakya Pandita. Now, we do have one form of Padmasambhava, Shakya Senge. So here he's in a kind of a Buddha form as an emanation of Padmasambhava, representing a particular stage in the biography of Padmasambhava. So, back to Sakya Pandita. So typically he wears a red hat, a Pandita hat, and his attributes are known to be a sword and a book because he is very well associated and affiliated with Manjushri. And those are the attributes of the Bodhisattva in Mahayana literature and the deity in Vajrayana literature, sword and a book for Manjushri. Now, in the 14th century, we have Yakton Sangjipel, who created a guru yoga practice for Sakya Pandita. So this actually is creating Sakya Pandita into his form, into an iconographic form. And in that form, Sakya Pandita has the two hands in the Dharma teaching gesture, sword and a book above two Utpala flowers above the shoulders. He's wearing a red Pandita hat, seated in Vajra posture. And then this becomes extremely common after the 14th century for depictions of Sakya Pandita because his guru yoga practice became very popular within the Sakya, Ngorpa, and Sarpa traditions. Even up to the present time, Sakya Pandita Guru Yoga is very popular. Even the great teacher of the 20th century, Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, you can find in his collected works his own text of Sakya Pandita Guru Yoga, which he wrote. He composed his own ritual meditation for the Guru Yoga of Sakya Pandita. So, after this time, we find a lot of the Sakya Pandita paintings and sculpture, but we also find the Gelugpa school of Tibetan Buddhism really arises in the mid-late 15th century, and we also have a Guru Yoga practice that was composed for Tsongkhapa, and this very much follows the appearance of the Sakya Pandita Guru Yoga with the hands in Dharma teaching, sword and book. The only difference is really the yellow hat. Tsongkhapa. Then back to Sakya Pandita, in the really the 17th century, 1600s, the Gelugpa tradition adopts Sakya Pandita as a pre-incarnation of the Panchen Lama. And so with this, then there's paintings are made of all of the pre-incarnations and then the later post-incarnations as we move into the late 17th and then definitely into the 18th century. Then there's a set of paintings made, this Nartong painting set of the pre-incarnations and then the early incarnations of the Panchen Lama, which includes a Sakya Pandita form. And in this form, Sakya Pandita is depicted as being in a debating posture. So this becomes a very popular set, and it's reproduced in block prints, but it's also reproduced in Hangzhou in China as textile tonkas, textile scroll works, woven scroll works, depicting each of the pre-incarnations and incarnations after the first Panchen Lama. So these are really the forms of Sakya Pandita. This is how we find him, but also we have to understand that he can easily be confused with many other teachers who have similar gestures, postures, attributes, and this is especially confusing with sculptural representations. So just a little introduction to the difficulty of dealing with historical persons represented in art.